Hello everyone, welcome to this chronicle for the wrestling analyst. So today I'm going to take a look at what happened at Smackdown last night. So I'll try not to drag too long because I saw that my first two videos took over 20-25 minutes. First one almost half an hour, and I think it's a little bit too long, so I'll try not to drag too much. Now, first segment, Karrion Kross gets attacked by Drew McIntyre after a car accident. Well, the car accident. After that, we saw that it was Drew that just rammed into Karrion Kross's and Scarlett's car to beat him up, to basically beat him up, and he said after that it's far from over. This is just the beginning. So my guess is that McIntyre and Karrion Kross are going to face each other at Crown Jewel. So that's what I see coming right now. Match 1, Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn. Now, before the match, we had an angle that Sami and Jay were talking. Well, Sami was talking to Solo, telling him, "Okay, you don't have to come to the ring tonight. I have this and that." And Jay comes and says, "I'm going." Sami tells Jay to go to the ring with him and let him take care of business and everything. And then Sami gets a phone call. It's Roman, and Roman talks to Sami, and then he talks to Jay, and probably says to Jay on the phone, "You make sure that Sami wins." So, after a little debate, Jay agrees to raise terms. Now, Sami goes to the ring, and Sami has face heat right now. Even though he's classified as a heel since he's in the bloodline, he's getting face heat. So that booking makes sense, let's say, because we all know that Sami is going to do a face turn eventually, and he's going to go probably against the bloodline after that. A lot of rumors, a lot of people's wishes are for Sami and KO to unite and go after the Usos tag titles. Don't worry, I wish that too. And I think that's what we see that's coming. Now, Sami's booking as of late has been, he looks better in the ring. He's not, they make him look good right now in his matches. He's not getting beat up. He's not, you see they're trying to rebuild his credibility in order to be a credible contender against the Usos when the face turn comes. Now, Kofi and Sami did not have that good chemistry between the two. There were a couple of mishaps during the match, but that can happen. Mistakes can happen. We all make mistakes. I made mistakes during my career in the ring, and everyone does them. And when two guys don't face off often, like Sami and Kofi didn't face off that often since they're both in WWE, that those things can happen. Now, the finish, great finish. Because the way it was done, Sami didn't see Jay pushing Kofi into the pin, and Sami thinks that he won the match by himself. And Jay says thank you and whatever. Well, they had a segment later on, so I'll come back to that storyline there. Now, second segment, Rey Mysterio goes to see Triple H, and he tells him with what all that's going on with the situation with Judgment Day and Dominic, Ray tells Triple H that I can't do that. I can't keep on going like that, and I'm quitting. Now, Triple H, he just says, hey, there must be another way, and he invites him in his office to talk it over, and that's all we saw for until now. Segment 3, we had Roxanne Perez talking with Shotzi, and then Raquel comes in, and Roxanne asks Raquel to face Cora Jade at NXT on Tuesday with the Pick Your Poison matches. And then Damage Control interrupts them and challenge the three, Raquel, Shotzi, and did I say Raquel Gonzalez? It's Raquel Rodriguez. No, it's Raquel Gonzalez. I'm confused between the two. It's Raquel Gonzalez. Rodriguez was at NXT. Anyway, so they challenge the three of them to a 6-woman tag team match later on in the evening. Second match, Braun Strowman versus James Maverick and Brian Thomas, 2 local wrestlers. Again, I'm going to say like I did on my video on Raw for Raw this week. 2 local wrestlers. They were there to be jobbers, and you need that sometimes. They were there to just be like cannon fodder for Braun Strowman. But like I say, I've been a wrestler in the independents, and I respect everyone that does this. Because for having been there, I never did a match in WWE. That would have been a dream of mine, but it was unrealistic for me. But those 2 guys, they got beat up, but Omos came down the stairs in the crowd, and they had a confrontation. They were, after the match, they were looking at each other, and then an MVP, which is the mouthpiece for Omos, he basically said to Braun, "You're nothing compared to Omos." So, again, I think that sets up a match for Crown Jewel. Now, coming back from a commercial, we see the Bloodline. Now, Sammy is talking to Solo about his coming match, telling him that that number 1 contenders match for the Intercontinental title is the first step to add more gold to the Bloodline, and then Solo says, "Hey, congratulations for your win." Sammy says, "Well, I did it by myself," and Jake says, "Hey, you're welcome." And Sammy doesn't know why he's saying that. Well, he knows why, but he says he doesn't know why he's thanking him. He has to thank him because he won by himself. And then they start having a little bit of an argument, and then it fades out and Sammy says to Solo, "Go get him and win that match." Now, match 3, LA Knight versus Mansoor. Mansoor. So LA Knight makes his debut on Smackdown and looks to have his first win as a wrestler, because he's been there for a while, but as Max Dupree, he just ditched that gimmick, and now he's LA Knight, and everyone in the crowd was going crazy and everything. Mansoor wants to make LA Knight pay for his betrayal. That's basically what's going on in that match. Now, Mansoor, that maximum male model gimmick is not working too well right now. You see, they have a gimmick, but they're not winning any matches. So they are enhancement talents, let's say, for now. So LA Knight wins the match. People in the crowd go crazy, takes the mic and just tells I don't need any of you. So he turns heel right on the crowd. So right now you see right there that LA Knight is back to his evil ways. Match number 4. Damage Control versus Raquel Gonzalez. I wrote Rodriguez. Raquel Gonzalez, Shotzi, and Roxanne Perez. Now, Damage Control wants to get back on the winning track, especially Bailey. And Raquel and Shotzi wants to win to get a title shot against Io and Dakota Kai. Now, match was good. By the way, all matches were pretty good tonight. Last night, I mean. So, Bailey gets the pin on Roxanne Perez. And after Monday nights, when Bailey got pinned by Candice LeRae with a Rose Plant reversal, and then you see Roxanne doing the same reversal on Bailey, you would have thought like, oh, right there. Again, she's going to get pinned. And then, whoop, nope, she reverses again and pins Roxanne with a crucifix pin. So that just shows that Bailey has thought about what happened against Candice, and she came up with a plan to counter the Rose Plant counter. So that seems that makes Bailey look good in a way that she had a setback and then boom, right back up. She's right back up there. So that's good for her, and it's like, okay, I'm learning from my mistakes. So that just advanced a little bit Bailey character-wise there. Match 5, Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma. Now in this match, before the match, Hit Row wants revenge for Legado's attack last week. Legado del Fantasma are making their debut at Smackdown, so they have to win to make a mark. Now, Legado del Fantasma wins with an impressive fashion, because Hit Row, since they came back, they were really crowd favorites, and that Top Dollar, he's impressive as a big man, but they're starting to lose their matches. So maybe that might set up down the road a heel turn for Hit Row as well. Maybe. I'm not going to go too far on that, but I'll come back to that eventually, but maybe Hit Row is going to have a heel turn at some point in the coming months. We'll see. If they keep on losing, it can happen, or they add a member or something, but we'll see about that. Now, before the win, and the pin was taken on Top Dollar because Zelina Vega took out B-Fab, and Santos Escobar took out Ashante the Adonis just before the pin. So it was a numbers game, and it was a well-planned attack by Legado del Fantasma. So that's, like I said, all matches were good. So, well, they were pretty good. Not pay-per-view, not premium live event quality, but they were good. Now, segment 5, Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. Sonya Deville is getting interviewed backstage, and she says that Liv Morgan got destroyed by Ronda Rousey, and that Liv Morgan doesn't have it. Liv comes and she just goes ballistic on Deville. She attacks him, and then proceeds to give her a senton from the scaffolding right onto a table. So that might become a trademark for Liv Morgan. And you see the tendency there. She did it to Lacey Evans. She did it to Ronda Rousey in their match at Extreme Rules. And now she's just done it to Sonya Deville. So you see a trend there. Main event. Number one contenders Intercontinental title match. Fatal 4-way. Ricochet versus Solo Sikoa versus Sheamus versus Karrion Kross. And then right at the match, in the announcement, they say that Karrion Kross can't compete because of injury, because of the injury he had in the first segment of the night when he was attacked by Drew McIntyre. And then they announce a replacement, which is Rey Mysterio. That, my guess at that time, was he getting transferred to Smackdown just to not be at the same brand with Dominic? And we saw later on that it was exactly that Triple H cut a deal with Rey. Instead of him quitting, he just moved him to SmackDown, and voila. Now, Solo wants to add gold to the bloodline, and this could be the first step. So that was Solo's goal in that match. Sheamus, he just wanted another shot at Gunther. And Ricochet would like another shot at Gunther too, because Gunther took the title from him some months ago. So during the match, Jay and Sammy tried to interfere in the match and on behalf of Solo. Brawling Brutes arrive. Rich Holland and Butch. Now, are they going to give him his Pete Dunne name back? I just hope so, because Butch, I can't stand that name. But anyway, so Brutes and Bloodline brawl and leave Ricochet in the win. And Ray wins and gets a shot at Gunther. Now, that match is going to probably happen at Crown Jewel as well. So you already see a couple of matches being set up for Crown Jewel. McIntyre Cross. Now, I'm not saying they didn't announce it yet, but I think that we're going to see Karrion Kross against Drew McIntyre. We're going to see Omos versus Braun Strowman at the Crown Jewel, and probably Rey Mysterio versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title at the Crown Jewel. And the show just finished with Bray Wyatt thanking everyone for their support during his time away. Now, was it really the story of his life? Was it, or it was just a work interview like that? I don't know, because maybe Bray did live through some bad times. I know, well, everyone knows him as Brody Lee or Luke Harper. When he died, it really did a big blow to Bray. So, but he seems like to have a new theme music, which would be a remix of his old one. So he was thanking the WWE Universe, but then there was like his mask appeared on the Titantron and was talking. So it's like, okay, what's happening here? So that's what you have to do when you do a wrestling show in the independence. So that's one advice to independent promoters. if you want people to be invested in your federation, okay, you need to have a cliffhanger at the end of your shows. You have to give a reason to promoter to spectators, to your crowd, to want to come back to your next show. If you're just doing wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match, and you have no storylines, people are not going to be invested in your federation. You're just going to come to the show once in a while and say, tonight I feel like going to see wrestling. I'm going to go see that little federation at the corner of my street. Now, when you tell storylines, when you have cliffhangers, 2-3 cliffhangers in your show, to tell your crowd, to say, hey, I want to see what's going to happen. Let's say you have a show in 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. I want to see what's going to happen in 2 weeks. Or I want to see what's going to happen to that son of a bitch that just attacked my favorite guy. And, you have to have cliffhangers like that to get your crowd to come back week or 2 weeks or every other week to all your shows, to come back all the time. And some of them are going to bring a friend along, so you get him hooked. And that's the way you build a crowd. Not just by making matches after matches. No, you have to have storylines to build up your crowd. And your crowd comes back, and it grows, and it grows. So, anyway, I'm digressing right now. But it was just like, I just wanted to have this... let's say this advice to independent promoters who may be out there and trying to build a crowd. You have to have storylines that are compelling. So anyway, so just to end on this, on Smackdown, with Bray Wyatt, you have a perfect cliffhanger. Now you have to see like, okay, what the hell is that? What's going to happen in 2 weeks? What is Bray going to be is going to do not in 2 weeks, but what is Bray going to do next week? What is going to happen? Who are the Wyatt Six? Who were in the Huskers and the Rabbit and the Witch? Who were those people? So. Anyway, I'm going to end on this. So I'll see you at the beginning of next week with Raw. I started watching NXT a little. I watched NXT. I took some notes, but I'm not going to start doing any NXT stuff for now. Just to get to know the wrestlers a little bit more. Get to know the storylines a little bit more. I know there's Halloween Havoc coming. I might do a review of Halloween Havoc after the show. So, and for Crown Jewel, I will be doing like a predictions for the match and an analysis, a before each match analysis when I have the card. So, see you. I'll see you, and hope you like that. Hope you subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, give me a like, and I'll see you next week. Have a nice one.